Welcome to Reckoning Brothers, everybody, and evening drinks.
Evening drinks. Woo! And evening gummies. I took a gummy. I didn't tell you. I'm sorry. I don't like to keep secrets from you.
What's really funny is I was over at a friend's house, somebody gave them some of those. The gummies, they don't, I don't think they've ever taken one. And you had mentioned, and I said, remember last week I said I never had
You said you never had one. I said that was insane. Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, I don't want it. He goes, just take it. I'm like, I don't need it. But I've still got it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably give it to my dog.
You should absolutely give a gummy to your dog.
No, you know what? I joke about that, but I'm going to have to put BG to sleep soon. And I just wonder if that might not be like, what difference does it make? Like, if it would calm her down, like on the way to the vet, or like whatever. Like here,
it might be. Yeah. I mean, they have the same. Apparently, they have the THC receptors or whatever. And yeah, that sucks. She's a good dog, man. Sorry that you have to fucking do that.
I'm just
sorry. We're just starting this conversation on a downer, but that's life, man. I don't think I don't think you should bury your head in the sand about emotions like that when it comes to dog. That we had to put our dog down about a little over a year ago, and it was extremely sad.
Yeah.
But I refused to look away from it. And when my fiance and I were there, and we're dealing with the grief and everything, they're telling us in the animal hospital he's got to go down, and we're like, they ask, do you want to stay in the room? And I was like, absolutely. You have to stay there. Not the people say it's for the dog, which it is, because you want to be there till the end, right? I'm getting emotional.
The dog deserves to be with.
But it's really also for you, because then you can see it and you can. It helps to look it in the eye, just like any other negative thing in life. I think if you just stare at it straight and you say, "This is real, and I can take it, and I can make it past," and I think for me, that's what really helped me be able to keep the half-life down longer. Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
No, I mean I couldn't agree more, and I've put a number of dogs to sleep. I mean, and been with them. I had a vet tell me, I had a vet assistant, a nurse or whatever, one time tell me that that wasn't allowed, and I said, go get the vet.
What?
She goes, we don't allow that. I said, please go get the vet and tell him. The family vet was out of town on like a 2 or 3 week vacation when 15-year-old Sam, beautiful black and tan long haired dachshund, started to suffer, and so I had to be done. So back then we had I still had phone books or whatever, and my dad and I took Sam to a vet in Beaver Creek, and that's what she said. And the vet came out and goes, "No, it'll be all right." And that was really a bad euthanasia, because the vet missed Sam's vein 3 times.
Ah, that's rough, man. Shit.
It took 18 minutes for Sam to die.
God.
And I lost my temper. My father had to keep me from because I grabbed the vet by the lapels and said, "Are you going to kill my dog or what? What the fuck's going on?" Right? And the vet explained to me, he goes, it really didn't help at the time, because Sam has got his tongue hanging out and he's breathing heavily and he's looking at me, and dogs don't like to get shots anyway.
Yeah,
right.
Of course.
And he keeps giving shots to my dog, and Sam is looking at me like, "Why are you letting this happen?" Which is what I was thinking, that's the emotion you're going to have. The vet very adroitly said to me, "Mr. Yes, I have missed the vein, and I'm sorry about that, but Sam cannot feel anything right now. You think that he can, but he can't, because he had so much,
Yeah. I'm sure the vet was right about that. That sounds
well,
perfect.
yeah, I mean, he had so much phenobarbital running through him.
Yeah.
Right. It just wasn't enough to kill him right away, to put him to sleep right away.
Did you apologize to the vet afterwards?
Yeah, I think I did. I was like, yeah.
Like, sorry, I was such a dick.
No,
I was in an emotional place.
Outburst, it was an very emotional outburst.
And I mean, when you sign up to be a vet, that you have to understand that's going to happen. You have to. I mean, I felt so bad, like when we were at the animal hospital for this whole thing. I heard just a lady get the news in the room next to us, and she's just wailing at the top of her lungs.
Yeah.
And as sad as we were, I look over at my fiance like, God damn, like this lady, like, we're going to get through this. We're going to be fine. We're going to get another dog and love it and move on. But this lady, God damn, I felt so bad. Some people really, it's tough, man. It's tough to lose it. What are you going to do, man? But anyways, to their memories.
Yeah, and the last word on that, yeah, it is very sad. And somebody put a video up the other day, and it was this woman. She was covered in tattoos, and her dog was a pit bull, and she was wailing and screaming, and it was captioned with, "For anybody who has never gone through this, it's one of the saddest things in the world." But she was recording herself the whole time.
I hate that. God, I hate that shit.
Right, and it was one of those things where you're scrolling, and you're like, and like, because of because of the headline on it, you stopped and looked at it for a minute, and she's going, and she's just losing it. And of course you feel bad for her, but like, no, you don't fucking record yourself doing that, and you don't fucking put it on the internet.
We're from a different place, man, a different time where that was seen as, what's the word for it? It was seen as uncouth to air yourself publicly that way. And now it's, you can get clicks for it. You can get likes.
It was called airing your dirty laundry, and nobody did it.
Exactamundo, man. Exactly.
So, Scott, I love riot season, and I love the riot fires.
Dude, I love how we have riot season now. It's like, oh, dude, you got to come visit for riot season. It is the absolute best time to come to LA. What is it? What is the reason this time? Oh, no, someone got shot, or it's ICE raids. What's it going to be next time? I don't even know. Something new and exciting.
It's going to take about 3 or 4 days before they start calling this a genocide.
Yes.
Trust me.
Exactly. This whole thing. So we're in the middle of the ICE raid protests, and I'm always torn on this.
The riots.
Go ahead. Yeah, ICE riots. There's every riot has an element of protest. Every protest has an element of riot, and that's just everything that happens in America from now on. You can't have one without the other. We can't have nice things. There's always going to be.
I think it's worth reminding people, and I'm old enough to remember it, because there's just a whole bunch of people online that the perpetually online left and the anarcho communists and all of these people are online egging this stuff on and talking, and they put up the video of the guys throwing the rocks at the ICE vehicles, and make this king even more famous than he is, blah blah blah, and and what does Christian MAGA think about deporting innocent innocent families and children, and it's just also exhausting.
I don't think I could survive your online diet, because I know that stuff's out there, but you really are clued into all of these extreme leftists and everything they do and say online. It's so frustrating to me. I can't handle more than like 5 to 10 seconds. You're bathed in it. How do you do it?
I am a contract editor. I have to.
So you're a masochist. You're a professional masochist. You're basically like Michael Shannon's character on Boardwalk Empire, taking a cat of nine tails and whipping yourself on the back.
I mean, I wear two hats, right? So I have a corporate job doing, tactical intelligence, and I've had my own editing business for, decades, over almost 3 decades. I guess.
Do you think that? What's the word choice? I want to say, do you think that warps you, but that comes across as negative, and I don't mean it that way. Do you think it changes you when you see all this negative stuff and you're forced to look at it? Do you think it skews you in a way that, and again, I want to say might not match reality, but I don't mean that in a mean, negative way, because reality is very big, right? These people exist that you're looking at, but do you think that it's do you think it skews you?
No, it doesn't affect me emotionally and like how I live my life. It doesn't affect, I've got very thick skin. I've seen bad things happen, like bad things happen. When I was in the Middle East, especially, um, and when I worked in IT security, I was in a high priority queue where I was watching really bad videos that needed to be
You told
taken
me about
down right
this.
away. Right,
Yeah.
bad stuff. I'm not even going to go into it. Just think of the worst things you can think of,
Hmm.
all the way from naked men standing in their living room who just got kidnapped because their wife hired 3 guys to kidnap him and kill him and live stream it.
That's a toxic relationship right there. They probably, in her defense, if you have that kind of relationship, you probably should have split up. That's about the most positive thing I can say
Yeah,
about that.
he was handcuffed and his mouth was duct taped and his ankles were duct taped together, and they were going to kill him. They were going to live stream his execution online.
Sick world.
I had to take those videos down. I was like pushing magic buttons, going like taking it off of TikTok, and then also using the data analysis that I had on my at my workstation to pinpoint certain things, and then I had when I not my whole time period there, but when I was like a deputy team supervisor, whatever you want to call it, that would during my shift would have the two flip phones. One they called the one you used to call the United States Marshals, and the other one you used to call the FBI.
Are you allowed to share all this, or am I going to have to go through and edit like crazy?
No, it's cool. No, you can leave that in there.
Perfect.
To answer your question, when I see all this stuff online, no, it doesn't really affect me. I have to do it for my work because I need to know what's going on.
Do
Right?
you compartmentalize? Do you just say, "Hey, look, this is work. I understand these are extreme people in extreme situations. This isn't a normal person. This isn't normal America." Does it ever seep into your normal life, do you think?
No, I don't think it does. I get extremely angry for brief periods of time. I'll get really angry, like by myself angry, like not like in the office angry, where people would go, "Mark, what's wrong?" Right?
You
Like
don't take it out on your dog, and that's why you have to put her
right,
down.
yeah, I just kick the dogs. I never let somebody else, right? So I mean, a really good example is like everything that's been happening in LA all weekend. Um, for the last 48 hours, 36 hours out, whatever. Um, and the perpetually online left is out there, proselyte and egging it on and putting up, and then all of there's like this onslaught of that kind of stuff, and then all of the subcategories that go along with it. A good example of that would be so the narrative is that the protesters are protecting or defending immigrants and immigrant communities in Los Angeles. Motherfucker, I've seen videos. I saw videos of mobs of people going in and destroying an immigrant's business.
If you recall, of course, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
Kyle Rittenhouse was defending. Well, I guess the original reason that he and his friends went out there was to defend a minority-owned car dealership. Do you remember this? That was the reason he was out there. He was defending a minority business. But it's not about minorities. This is, of course, I don't know, Mark. When you zoom out 30,000 foot view, Marxism always seems to rear its ugly head with the youth. Right. And Marxism is basically, take from the rich, give to the poor, but it also means take from the competent and give to the lazy in some way. Right. I'm not saying that's all encompassing, but that's a part of it.
Well, no, you're exactly right.
Right.
And you'll forgive me while I use my phone here for a minute.
No. Please go ahead. The point I'm trying to make is, why does it keep showing up? What is... We seem to... Why isn't conquered yet? Why we have historically, we know why extreme leftism is bad. We have example after example after example, and millions of dead people and everything in between. But yet when something like this happens in LA, right, we get another extreme lefty, youthful, non-holistic view of the world come and scream and protest. And it
Yeah,
seems like it's happening more and more.
it is.
Why do we not realize it? Why aren't the youth told something other than go out there and protest and hey, it's
God,
your world king bullshit?
it's the same people that were doing the BLM riots. It's the
Exactly.
same people that were doing rioting, doing the rioting against Israel. It's the same people that were tearing down posters of kidnapped Jewish babies. It's the same people. It's the same people that rioted in Ferguson. It's the same people that rioted um, when Cheeto won the election in 2016, and
So it's organized.
oh yeah,
It's an organized group of people. There's agitators that fly from city to city that know how to work up people so that they can get
well, I
their
don't know if they
bases
fly
of
from city to city. Each city has their own, you know, brigade of troublemakers. There's no other way to put it.
it.
And,
It doesn't
and
take it
I
doesn't
can
take
go.
many, does it? It doesn't take many. How many agitators would it really take to make something like in LA happen? 100?
Oh yeah, well, like
A core group of 100 that can, agitate more
one
people.
of the communists of Twitter went, if you just look at all the thousands and thousands of people that are out protesting, you'll see that America is far left, and that this is a populist uprising. And I just, I crunched some numbers, and it was like, well, if there were 50,000 out today, that would be 0.000146 of the population. If there were
If there
100,
was, which I'm sure there wasn't 50,000 people.
absolutely not. And if there were 150,000, which there were not anywhere close to that, nationwide, there weren't anything close. They had some protests in New York, they had protests in LA, some smaller ones elsewhere. But even if it were 150,000, that's 0.000447 of the population. It's 340 million people in this country. So the whole notion about this is really popular, and so yeah, it's a really small percentage of people. Um,
Can I mention why I really hate a lot of these protests?
Please,
I love the Hispanic community, especially in Los Angeles. Love with a capital L.
yes,
I
so do I.
am marrying into a Hispanic family. It is some of the most amazing people I've met into my entire life. I love everything about it.
She's marrying a Jew.
She fucked up. That's just not one of the reasons why she fucked up. There's many reasons why she fucked up
You guys are
deciding
good
to
with
marry
money,
me.
so
Yeah. I'm the one that missed that gene. But love this community. And the vast majority that I've met are really pro American, right? And they really walk this tightrope about being proud to be Hispanic, mostly Mexican, around here at least, proud to be Mexican, but also proud to be American. And they do it well in a very commendable way. But if you listen to these lefties and you watch these
you would
protests,
never know that,
you would never know that. You would never know all these Hispanic Americans with big ass trucks and huge fucking American flags on their trucks.
right?
These are an enormous amount of the population. But the rest of the country, if you're not here, they're so ignorant to this fact. And it's like, oh God, the extreme leftists, they just hate. I sound like fucking Mark right now. They hate America so much because they do. But there are so many people of all colors, religions that love America and what it stands for. And they never get the spotlight with these people. And it frustrates the hell out of me, man.
It really does me too. And
Mm.
like I said, forgive me while I scroll my phone because I'm trying to find something that I wrote. I don't want to be specific about what I wrote down.
So you're not going to show a picture up to the camera because we've already decided
I'm
that.
not allowed to do that, even when Josh isn't around to
Josh
prevent
will
me from
hit
doing.
you. Something is going off in his head right now, wherever he's at, that you're about to do that, and he's having like a fucking migraine that he's got to deal with. But
By the way, now, since it just came up as I'm scrolling through here, I just want to point out that that a national editor for the New York Times, a national editor for the New York fucking Times, tweeted this out. An editor, ask yourself why ICE is conducting these raids in cities like Los Angeles and Chicago, where they face vociferous opposition, but huge agribusinesses in places like Christie Home, South Dakota, go untouched. So you know what Sparky does? What does Sparky do?
Research.
I use the magic
or talk shit. You do two things: research and talk shit. Which one did you do?
I use the magic box in my hand and
research.
Yeah, headlines: immigration crackdown comes to South Dakota. Minnehaha County Jail saying more arrested by ICE. Minnehaha County Jail. South Dakota immigration arrests spark public questions.
You can't expect a New York Times employee to go through that amount of effort that you did.
ICE crackdowns target Madison manufacturers days after Christie Home's visit to South Dakota. Sioux Falls area immigration arrests increased activity. Men arrested in Madison among dozens of immigrants detained in South Dakota. And that was the tip of the fucking iceberg. Like I could have gone, I could make, I made a collage of those and I could have made two more. People believe when you've got a platform like that, when you've got a title like that, and you say something that egregiously false, because you've for one or two reasons. There's only two explanations for that. You didn't bother to look anything up, or you knew it and you just fucking decided you're an activist and you needed to
It's the latter. You know, it's the latter.
You wanted to lie and make a point.
It's the latter. They wanted to lie and make a point. It's built into their behavior. They don't stop and think about it. Their goal is not the truth. It's something else.
One of my friends wrote this down, and I love it. Don't deploy the National Guard against rioting foreign nationals waving the foreign flag of the country that they are fighting to avoid being sent back to.
That just goes back to what annoys me so much. This is so counterproductive for the mission of the melting pot, which is America is beautiful because we have a bunch of Mexican Americans who decided, hey, I'm proud to be American. I'm proud to be American. I know I'm a Mexican American, but I'm also proud to be an American. It's not that fucking hard to do. It's not that fucking hard to do. And so many do. But goddamn, the fucking loud ass idiot children get the fucking headlines and the cameras. This is just what you complained about with Instagram TikToks at a bigger level. This is just people wanting the cameras on them. They're willing to just do dumb fucking shit, protesting this shit just so they can get the eyeballs on them. It's embarrassing.
None of these internet Marxists, these internet tankies, none of them, not a single one of them. They're online doing it, and none of them are getting their ass out there and doing what they're, proselytizing others to do. But the funniest thing about these fucking idiots is they've never read a history book. If their little Marxist revolution ever comes to pass, they're going to be the first ones the nomenclature lines up against the fucking wall, right? Because they're going to be, these idiots will be the first ones to get the Red Terror because they never read a fucking book, right? It's going to be, here's a lovely thing that people are doing now. If they're going online and they're having AI A1.
Did you just call AI A1? Did you really fucking do that just now?
Yeah, I should go to
talking
Grok.
AI like it's a fucking steak sauce.
I should ask Grok to make an image of an A1 bottle that's also an artificial intelligence source.
It can do that. What do you want to talk about A1?
Listen to this fucking idiot. It's part of a thread, but we cannot afford to let people go home without making a commitment to the future built on a stable political orientation. We must make everyone permanently accountable to the world that they are bringing into existence. We cannot afford to let any of this moment go to waste. Now that's
a type of fucking. Sorry, Mark, but that's a type of statement that you should really enjoy talking about when you're in a college dorm room at 20 years old, and you should grow out of by the time you're 22. That's what that discourse warrants.
To me, no, that's a really smart point, and it goes to exactly. to the point that I was just the observation I was just going to make almost precisely. It sounds like an 8th or ninth grader who is writing something for the
You went
school
farther back.
newspaper, is writing something for the school newspaper or school newsletter, and they got A1 to help them to do A.
You motherfucker did it again. They got A1, their favorite A1 to go on there.
They got A1 sauce to help them write it. It begins with this. Escalation must be intensive as well as extensive. Exclamation point. Make a critique of Zionism about ICE, about imperialism, and about capitalism, and begin to talk about the infrastructure necessary to create new ways of living. Political consciousness gives action historiographic value and coherence, and not just as a platitude about how everything is interconnected. It must become something people experience robustly and understand and organize their lives around. The stakes of every struggle must be explicated in detail. Consciousness raising is most important to build and articulate in moments of crisis. When the inner mechanisms of society are most fluid and these connections become clear for all to understand.
That is, oh my God. All right. It sounds like they're using ChatGPT, but I think this type of person wouldn't allow ChatGPT just because they're so full of themselves and they would be so proud at that phrase that they wouldn't be able to. I at least hope that shame would envelop them if they were using AI to the point where they couldn't use it. It just sounds too much like a pretentious motherfucker typing at their keyboard for AI. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Yeah, they're sitting back and they're watching the riots and they're going, "Yay, yay, this is great!" Yeah. And once again, if they ever get their little Marxist revolution, this motherfucker right here is going to be it literally will be in the first wave of people to get lined up against the wall and shot.
They're never going to get their fucking Marxist revolution. We're still America. Everybody's got a gun. It's just, in the end, it's amazing how much, as I grow older, Mark, I don't know if this happened to you. You're slightly older than me. I start to appreciate the Second Amendment and just the whole realpolitik look of everything in life, and the fact that everybody has a gun really does matter. It really makes a difference in how all of our lives are, just because we have those guns. Because when it comes down to it, the knowing that violence and death could occur changes a person's behavior.
Well, you know the reason why I'm like the reason why I'm glad we have the Second Amendment and a lot of people have guns here is because if the aliens ever come, right? I think it would bring the whole country together. But if the aliens ever come, countries that have disarmed themselves are going to be the first. They're going to be the first ones that get the wall, and and we'll be the Red Dawn fighters against the alien invaders. Actually, I joke about that, but the Second Amendment wasn't created for just you and me, right? The Second Amendment was created for eternity. It was created for infinity. Like the founding fathers, in their wisdom, were like, "You have no fucking idea what could ever fucking happen."
Do you think, right? Mark? Okay, so you have the Second Amendment. You have the division of powers in the Constitution. Is the Second Amendment just a bigger version of division of powers? Part of the reason why the government works is you have the three major branches because it's designed with dynamism in mind, right? It's designed that people aren't going to get along and everything's going to change and you don't know what the future's going to hold and people are going to need to fucking argue and need a division of powers. If everyone has a gun, everyone has power. That's just another version of division of power. I'm just thinking of this just now. I don't have this idea fleshed out. I'm thinking of it in real time. But division of power is fucking important. A motherfucker needs, it's that way with everything in life, right? If you're dealing with an adversary in real life, it helps if that adversary knows that deep down you've got some power. You might be able to punch them in the fucking balls. You might be able to do something to make their life shitty. That gives you some power and it gives you a balance. And balance of power is so fucking important in every facet of life. It's
do
Huge.
Do you know where home invasions almost never happen? Do you know where there's no gang gun violence or street gun violence? And it's got nothing to do with the number of guns. It's
Quebec.
in No, it's in states. It's in heavily armed states like everybody in Wyoming, like literally every household in Wyoming has multiple firearms.
It's required by
Every
law.
household in Montana has multiple firearms. And what the left will tell you is they'll manipulate the stats and go, well, there's more gun violence in Montana actually because more people die from a higher percentage of people die from guns in Montana than in Illinois. But the lie that they factored in there is that they're counting suicide.
I don't know why anybody ever listens to political extremist statistics. This should be what you're taught in school as a child. If our education system did what it should do to make society better and level up, which we need to, because A1's going to take over. But
common sense would tell you nobody in Idaho and Montana and Nebraska, in those states, people aren't having gunfights in the streets,
no.
right? And they're not having turf wars with guns. They're not
There's
slaughtering
no gang violence, which is what really kills people with guns.
Well, to use a statistical framing of it, criminal use of guns is almost no.
Yeah.
Like using guns in the commission of a crime is almost negligible, right? Yes, people do die from guns, and once again, it's mostly from suicides or accidental or hunting deaths, accidental deaths. It's accidental whatever. But using a gun during the commission of a crime, almost never, right? Because if you try to break into Rancher Brown's house in Montana, you're gonna fucking get shot, and every fucking buddy knows it.
If you want, so my point that having the gun gives you a balance of power. You're now a player, right? So that would increase your quality of life.
Yeah.
In an area like you just mentioned, Wyoming, where everybody has a gun, they can protect themselves.
Yeah.
That seems like it's a higher quality of life than if they would.
It's autonomy, it's agency. And yes, of course, we're talking about people that know how to use guns, how to safely store guns, that aren't leaving guns out for their children to use, or we're talking about responsible firearm owners that hit what they aim at. They never point a gun at anything that they're not going to shoot, and they never use a firearm in an unsafe manner. I am fucking sick and tired of everybody using the Gestapo and the Nazi Germany and the Hitler and the comparisons. I've had it up to here with it. I'm sick of people shitting all over the memory of 80 million people that got killed in that fucking war. Nazi Germany invaded 20 countries on 3 continents. The Japanese invaded 15 countries. No, modern day prisons are not concentration camps, whether they're in El Salvador or anywhere else. I am sick of the fucking comparisons. It drives me crazy. You asked me earlier, Mark, does it ever affect you? And I went, no, that was a fucking lie. J.D. Vance tweeted this out. Insurrectionists carrying foreign flags are attacking immigration enforcement officers while one half of America's political leadership has decided that border enforcement is evil. Time to pass President Trump's big bill to secure the border. This was 2 days ago. And a guy who likes to make these Nazi comparisons about everything, he sees Nazis in his fucking alphabet. He sees Nazis in his cornflakes. Quote, these guys would 100% call the Warsaw Uprising an insurrection. And what I told him was that one of the most vomitous things about you is the frequency with which you invoke the worst suffering imaginable, the most grotesque crimes in all of human history, and compare it to something as reasonable as deporting illegal aliens. You can disagree with whether or not there should be any deportations or not. or you could agree with, yes, people are going to get deported. We had open borders for 4 years. A lot of criminals are here. People are going to get deported, etc. But no, you do not get to fucking compare that shit to the fucking Warsaw Ghetto, motherfucker. That's insane. Do you agree with me on that?
100%. I'm so fucking sick. Yeah, but the difference between you and I is I automatically discount somebody when they make a stupid comparison like that. But you, by nature of what you need to do, are like in that battle. But me and I think a lot of fucking people, when they see those people, and this ain't a right or left thing. This is just an extremist dumb people thing. As soon as they see it, they just cut them out of their fucking feed or whatever, or taken seriously. You're just gone. You're gone. You're out of the conversation, right? But I understand there's enough people that listen to people like that to where they're able to stay on and I don't know, get some kind of meaning or value or money or something from saying dumb shit like that.
I
But the
mean,
rest of us are done with it. We're done. We're
yeah,
fucking done, dude.
and a lot of some of it is bait. So you just want to put up
Yeah.
that gif where that gif where it says that's bait.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I and I don't spend a lot of time agonizing about these people, but I do like getting my 2 cents worth in for things like I'm not going to argue with somebody about whether or not there should be deportations or not. But if you say something that insane, when you invoke the Warsaw Ghetto and compare the Warsaw Ghetto with deportations in the United States in 2025, no.
Do you think that one was bait?
No, he's absolutely serious.
Do you enjoy this fight? Do you enjoy the fight, the battle with these people?
Scott, what do we do at Reckoning Brothers? We mock hypocrisy.
Something about petty tyrants, and then A1 sauce. That's all I remember.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
We
insult petty tyrants. I remember.
And, we mock hypocrisy.
And these people are silly, foolish idiots. I get that, but also at the same time, man, when I go online, I see all this shit. I think that we have so many problems looming in the future that require sober conversation and sober disagreement. Yeah. And this stuff isn't sober disagreement. You said, and what you said is absolutely true, and you're right to be angry about the references of the Warsaw Ghetto. But I just wonder if engaging with that, if these people I mean, I understand the utility. People will listen to people like this. So shutting them down makes sense because you could divert eyes from their silly shit to something better. I get that. I get that for sure. But also, it seems like a waste of a time because their shit's so fucking stupid and we got so much real problems in the future that require real thought and real attention. I don't know what you think about that. But that's kind of my last point.
And I go in spurts where I lay off of it. And yes, that guy is my online nemesis.
I just love how you have an online arch nemesis. I want to learn all about this motherfucker later. We'll do that later. I want to learn now. Don't tell me now. We'll wrap up and you can tell me later.
All right. Yeah, that's a good idea. The way I want to wrap it up is this. So I looked up, what do I do, Scott? What am I good at? I'm good at research, yes?
You're good at research and talking shit. Those are the only two things that you do.
Shit. And so everybody is out protesting and defending immigrant communities. And you'll never guess what I stumbled upon. There were no riots in Los Angeles in May of 2016. Headline, LA Times. Obama administration plans new raids that will deport Central American children. Those raids happened. There were no riots. Everybody that's online right now complaining about protecting immigrant communities didn't have a fucking word to say about that because it was the great Obama.
Yeah.
Right. So, the online, the organized left organizes at their place of time and choosing. And that's how they work. right? Los Angeles Times. Obama administration reports record number of deportations. The Obama administration recorded a record number of illegal immigrants for the third straight year. Communities in Los Angeles, blah, blah, blah. No, everybody's got amnesia. Everybody has amnesia.
It's amnesia. They never knew about it in the first
place. There's not a single enterprising reporter on CNN that's going to ask one of the guests on there yesterday or today or tomorrow and go, why do you think there weren't any riots in Los Angeles when the Obama administration was deporting Central American children? Why is that? Why is it now? Why didn't that happen then? Why are all the journalists that are screaming bloody murder about it today? Why did they have nothing to say about it then? Why is that?
They're not concerned about the future. They don't care about the real battles we have to fight in the future. They only care about their stupid little goals right now. They're activists. They're spend too much time in bullshit worlds and silos and not thinking outside of their box, not telling themselves every day that they are a piece of shit, which is the real key to intellectual freedom, I think.
Taps the sign. Taps the sign. You don't hate journalists enough.
Yeah.
You don't hate journalists enough. And you never will.
Or politicians.
Tapping the fucking sign.
We'll leave it at that. Can we leave it at that?
I don't know if I was too animated today or not. Did I seem a little bit upset?
You weren't animated enough. I loved it. I fucking loved it. 100%. This is my favorite. All right.
I love talking to you. I like talking to everybody. I love people.
This is true, man. You are a fucking extroverted motherfucker. People.
I love getting different opinions from everybody. I hate demonizing. I don't like demonizing people for their opinions unless they're insane opinions, like comparing Warsaw ghettos with, or comparing Cheeto with Hitler, or, somebody. Oh, I know we got to wrap it up. No, and I'm sorry. We were supposed to wrap it up.